slugger captivated fans with his offensive prowess and on-field antics, but whatever happened to one of baseball's biggest knuckleheads, Manny Ramirez? At the age of 13, Manny would move from his hometown of Santo Domingo in the Dominican Republic to Washington Heights in New York City. While attending George Washington High School, Manny would join the baseball team, which was composed entirely of Dominicans. And the high school version of Manny was quite different from the Manny that we know of now. He was really shy, quiet, and humble. But one thing that wasn't different, his otherworldly ability to hit the absolute crap out of baseballs. To say Manny was dominant in high school would be a drastic understatement. Ramirez put up video game numbers in his senior season, hitting .650 with 14 homers in 22 games and being named the New York City High School Baseball Player of the Year. Following that season, Manny would be drafted 13th overall by the Cleveland Indians in the 1991 MLB Draft, and would spend the next couple of seasons absolutely clobbering minor league pitching. In 1993, he'd be named the Minor League Player of the Year and rank as the number 3 prospect in all of baseball. After earning a cup of coffee that season, Manny would break camp with Cleveland to start 1994. And like the case at every other level of baseball Manny has ever played, MLB pitchers simply could not stop him. But Manny's true breakout came in 1995. An absolute force in Cleveland's lineup, the young slugger would launch 31 home runs and drive in over 100 runs. Over the next few years, he'd continue to stake his claim as the best right-hand hitter in the league. That included the 1999 season when Manny would drive in 165 runs, the highest RBI total in 60 years. Following the 2000 season, he'd become arguably the biggest free agent in the market, and the Indians would offer him a 7-year, $119 million deal. Despite the fact that this deal would have made Manny the highest paid player in baseball, he still wanted more. Eventually, Manny would agree to an 8-year, $160 million deal with the Boston Red Sox. And in Boston is where Manny transformed from a star to a legitimate superstar. As the stardom grew, he began to shed the shyness of his adolescence, and would draw appeal even from non-Indians or Red Sox fans for his antics and just overall goofiness. Antics like spiking a teammate's drink with Viagra, or taking a bathroom break inside of the Green Monster during an at-bat. Now, not everyone loved the antics, but they came to accept it as long as Manny kept ripping the cover off of every baseball he hit. That would lead to a phrase that was commonplace in Boston at the time, Manny being Manny. During his time in Boston, Manny and teammate David Ortiz would form what was widely considered as the scariest middle lineup in all of baseball. The duo would help the Sox to a title in 2004, breaking an 86-year championship drought and etching their names into history. He'd win a second World Series in 2007, but by 2008, Manny's relationship with the organization began to sour. Manny had clearly grown unhappy with the Sox, and let it be known through numerous incidents, most notably a physical altercation with a Red Sox secretary. While his play would remain elite, the antics became too much for the team to bear, and in the middle of the season, he'd be dealt to the Dodgers in a 3-team deal. And well, the second half of the 2008 season with the Dodgers might just be the best individual second half performance in baseball history. In a 53-game span, Manny would hit .396 with 17 homers and 53 RBIs. Despite playing just a third of the season in the NL, Ramirez would finish 4th in the league's MVP voting. And starting the 09 season with the Dodgers, Ramirez got off to a similarly torrid pace. But on May 7th, Manny would be handed a 50-game suspension after testing positive for HCG, a women's fertility drug frequently used by steroid users. The suspension proved to be just a minor setback for Ramirez, who performed well once he returned. But in the middle of the 2010 season, Ramirez would be dealt to the White Sox, where at 38 years old, he finally began to decline. In the 2011 offseason, Manny would sign a deal with the Tampa Bay Rays, but just 5 games into that season, he would abruptly retire from baseball. It was soon discovered that Manny had tested positive once again for a banned substance. Rather than appealing the subsequent 100-game suspension, Manny decided to retire. Over the next few years, he would hang around baseball, having numerous stints with various minor league teams, as well as a brief career overseas. Most recently, Manny served as a player coach for the Sydney Blue Sox of the Australian League in 2020. But Manny's release from the team in 2021 marked the official end of his baseball career. As of today, Manny is 15th on the all-time home run list and 20th on the RBI list. Now, the steroid situation has kept Manny out of Cooperstown up to this point, but the fact remains that Manny is one of the greatest hitters and characters in MLB history.